In this video, I'm going to review the whole process that allowed us to take an e-commerce business from $0 to $2.5 million in 15 months. And I'm going to share the exact reason why we were not able to hit $10 million for the same time period. If you're new to the channel, my name is Lachazar. I know I have a funny name, but everything that I'm trying to achieve with this content and these videos that I'm posting on my YouTube channel is to help you scale your e-commerce business to $1 million or more on a monthly basis by revealing everything that we do for the brands that we work with that spend anywhere from 100 to 200,000 to 500,000, even to $1 million a month or even more on channels such as Facebook, such as TikTok. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so since this is still an active client for us, I'm going to do my best to not reveal their identity because I just don't want to. We have an NDA signed, even though I'm pretty sure that you're going to get a very good understanding of the product and potentially even the brand. I'm not going to mention any names. So because of that, I will not be sharing any live examples and any examples of the ad creatives that are currently running or that we have run in the past that have performed extremely well for us. But if you're smart enough, you will know who am I talking about. So here is proof of the results that we generated. And unfortunately, as I said, this could have been $10 million in revenue, but we had some problems. And the reason why you see this relatively flat growth line throughout 2024 is because of some of our strategic bottlenecks that the business faced that had to be solved before we even got the chance to increase the spend and basically scale. We had a counterfeit attack that led to more than $2 million in unrealized revenue during the summer of 2024. The brand didn't want to scale using only one product because they were thinking that this would decrease their valuation as a business. So they wanted us to expand into different product lines, which took a whole lot of time in order to come into place. But anyway, the total amount of spend for the same period was $400,000 on Facebook and about more like 100 on TikTok. It's just that I couldn't really take a screenshot of the whole entire period because TikTok only allows me to take screenshots of 365 days. So I had to cut a few months out of the equation, and I'm going to post a link for this presentation or this document, whatever you want to call it, on social media so that you can have a look at it by yourself. The main reason, once again, why we didn't scale to 10 million, even though we had the margin, because you see, we were spending we spent $500,000 on social media channels, and it generated $2.5 million in revenue. So that was about an ROI of about 5. So with that profitable ROI, I'm pretty sure that we could have ramped up our spending on a monthly basis to around 200,000, maybe even more, because we actually did it. The most amount of money we spent on a single day for this account in particular was $3,000 in a single day, which equates to about $100,000 a month, and the return on ad spend maintained of about 3 or 4. So we had the margin, but we didn't have the permission from the brand to scale up. So without wasting any more of your time, here is basically what we did. Everything starts with a great offer. If you don't have a great offer and that allows you to spend the money because of your good margins, you're never going to do it. It's impossible for you to scale an e-commerce business without a good offer and without good margins. By good margins, what I mean, 70% plus in gross. That's the bare minimum that you should be aiming for if you want to scale with paid advertising. Because if you have 50% margins, you're going to need a 2x return on ad spend just to break even on your ad spend. That's not accounting for the cost of ad creative, the cost for your agency, the maintenance cost for the website, basically anything that you want to do with the website, any web dev, it's not going to account for this. So asking for a minimum of 2x return on ad spend is already putting you way, way, way behind your competitors who are happy to scale with a 1.5, 1.6, 1.4, even in some cases 1.2 if they have a good lifetime value and they're very profitable. So this is what our TikTok and Facebook return on ad spend looked like during October 2023, which was the first month in business for the client. As you can see, this is basically $4,000 in cost on TikTok with $3,000 in sales. So we were losing money. Our return on ad spend was 0.7. And then when it comes to Facebook, it spent $8,300 and it generated 27 in return. So that was a return on ad spend on Facebook, 3.4. But this is very far away from the truth because we obviously used third-party tracking tools such as triple whale to track accurately the revenue that we are generating, and all of the revenue did come through Facebook. They didn't have anything else going on. So this is what it looked like during November 2024. Keep an eye on the AOV here. You see, during October 2023, our AOV was $35, and then November 2024, we reached an AOV of about $60. That wasn't a coincidence. That was basically us making strategic moves to increase the average order value. So we went from 20 to 35, because here you see 24, 46, 44, to about 60 on average. On some occasions, we were even hitting 75, 62, etc., etc. But the majority was getting about 50, 57 AOV. So back when we were not that knowledgeable on how to create good offers, but what we did instead is we bundled our 4 best-selling products and gave people 20% off. Then we started sending all of our traffic to the bundle landing page, because we saw that we have one top best-selling product. I was going to review the product, but thank God I didn't. One best-selling product, but people were also bundling and buying the second, the third, the fourth, and a fifth product right next to and even the fifth product alongside our top best-selling ad. So what we did is we created a bundle. We started sending all of our traffic to the bundle landing page, and we did not see any increase in the cost per acquisition on Facebook in particular, and any drop in the conversion rate. We just saw a jump in our return on ad spend and basically more revenue. So since then, I have created, because we actually got more knowledgeable on the topic of landing pages and bundles and like how to increase AOV, etc., a mini training on how to create good offers with some examples from 9-figure companies that you can access here. And I, of course, closed the tab that I wanted to show you. It's right here. So it's another Notion training, how to craft offers that convert. And basically you have examples from True Classic, from Athletic Greens, from Hue, from Dr. Squatch, etc., with some calculations and some math on the margins, on your target margins, and then some more offers that you can run. So feel free to access this if you want to. So that was the foundation for a successful and profitable scaling. We were able to increase our return on ad spend without seeing an increase in our cost per acquisition. And obviously, because we bundled 4 best-selling products, we increased the amount of money that we can spend on acquiring a new customer, because we had all this margin from 4 different products stacked on top of each other that allowed us to basically aim for a higher return on ad spend. Also, you have the ability to consume a higher cost per acquisition, which in our case, it just didn't happen. So maybe this is an outlier, maybe it isn't, but it doesn't really matter. Test bundles, test increasing your AOV, because with an AOV of 20, 25, 30 bucks, it's possible. I'm not going to say that it's impossible, but it's definitely going to be much harder to achieve good results and scale to 1 million a month or more than it would be for you if you have like a 60, 70, 80, ideally $100 AOV. So second thing, developing the customer avatars. If you understand who your customer is, you cannot fail. And this is the biggest mistake that I see with most e-commerce businesses. Even yesterday, I spoke to a brand that is generating $150 to $200 million in revenue every single year. And the thing is that they have 8 million unique customers every year. The problem with that is that they couldn't get as detailed as humanly possible with the avatar, which is a problem, and which is why they are not successful when it comes to Facebook. They're generating that much revenue, but it doesn't come from Shopify. So anyway, if you understand who your customer is, you cannot fail. The key in 2025 is to create authentic ads that speak to the current and to the desired situations of your ICP or ideal customer profile, if you don't know what ICP means. And research is basically 90% of the work, because if you do proper research, it's going to be much easier for you to write the scripts, to create the personas, to create the content, to hire the content creators, because you would know exactly who you're looking for. And if you know exactly who you're looking for, like, you cannot fail. It's impossible. I will now walk you through the whole research process that we follow at our agency when we start working with a new company. And this is the same thing that we did for this brand in particular. So there's no better place to start than your website. This is where people with actual experience in using your product have left their thoughts. So what you're trying to understand during your research initially, because this is very basic information, is the gender of your ICP, the age range of your ICP, the before state, so how they were feeling about themselves or the problem that you are solving before they purchased from you, and ideally the after state, so what happened after they used your product. And this would allow you to come up with different angles to test. You should be prioritizing long and insightful comments. And here are two examples. So a comment that says, "This is a great product, you should buy it." Like, that's bullshit. Please don't use it. Prioritize longer, insightful comments because they give you better understanding of your customer. So great read. If you are in a self-love journey, key self-love journey, this also allow you to then search for other people on other social media networks, which I'm going to actually show you later on, that are on a self-love journey. So this is extremely, extremely important. I'm currently reading and studying this book. Obviously, now you know the product that we're selling. I've only just begun and I've learned so much about myself and others. I've learned so much about myself. So by reading this sentence, you will know that people who read this book don't actually know who they are. And this is an angle that could allow you to create content that would speak to somebody who actually feels that they don't know themselves as good as they have to. I highly recommend to anyone looking to understand themselves better and their perspective better. So once again, self-love journey, somebody who doesn't know himself or herself as good as they want to, and this is going to be a revelation. This is going to help you become or get to know the person that you want to get and you want to become. Gem. I love this book. I don't pick it up every day, but when I do, it's so very insightful. Highly recommend for those that are on a path of challenging yourself to grow personally. Just by going through these two comments, and the brand had much more than two very insightful comments, you will understand that your ICP is on a self-love journey, tries to understand himself or herself better, and wants to challenge himself or herself, wants to grow personally. Key, because our best concepts, the content that performed the best for us, was content that was targeting people who want to grow personally. If it wasn't for the research that we did in the beginning that took us 2 weeks, so the brand was thinking that we're so slow that they can't stand us being that slow, actually allowed us to generate the results that we did end up generating. This would also give you enough information so you know what you're looking for during the rest of your research. Because when we are done looking at the website reviews, analyzing through ChatGPT to Claude, which is actually something that I recommend you do use instead of ChatGPT because ChatGPT sucks. Claude is much better at writing and understanding, etc., etc. Just use Claude. We move on to TikTok, which is currently our favorite place for doing research because you can actually see the people who engage with similar content ideas, who produce this content that you are then later going to use to attract similar people just to purchase from you. So TikTok. When you go on TikTok, you should use the search bar to look for things that you already know about your ICP. I'm going to give you just one of the examples, which is self-love journey. As I mentioned earlier, we know that our customer is on a self-love journey. So if you type in self-love journey on TikTok, you can actually see the demographic, how do they look, what do they say, how do they speak, etc., etc. So after spending about 30 to 60 minutes, and I definitely recommend you spend more than this, more about like a day or two or even a week. If you only work and are focused on one brand, you should be doing this consistently every single day. You will start noticing some trends such as the age range, once again, of people who create the most viral content. Here we see one younger girl that's probably like 22, 25. Then we have a very old female. I'm not even sure what this actually is. It could be a scene from a movie or whatever. And then we have a podcast style clip of a woman that's about between 40 and 50 saying, I woke up for 40 years and thought something was wrong with me every single day. So this is so damn powerful because you speak to an emotional part and an emotional aspect and the emotional personality of somebody. And we have found out in the past 3 years of us producing content every single day that focusing on emotional perspective converts much better than just focusing on the logic. I don't know why. It's probably psychology, and potentially I might start explaining the reason, the hypothesis why, but that's not important. The important thing to note here is that if you focus on the emotional aspect, your ads are going to convert much, much, much better. Then another thing that you're going to figure out after you scroll on TikTok for hours, the hooks of the most viral videos usually create an open loop. And what I mean by open loop is usually this is a story that piques people's curiosity in the beginning in order for them to stay and watch the video until the end. So this is super important because if you produce an ad that has a high average playtime, this is key when you analyze your ad creatives. If the average playtime is high, most likely your CPM is going to be lower because Facebook is going to be pushing this content for cheaper to more people because it's a very top of funnel ad creative because it makes people stay on the platform for longer. So Facebook is going to reward you for this, and this would result in a lower cost per click and respectively a lower cost per acquisition. The video types that go viral is another thing that you're going to figure out after you go on TikTok, because in our case, it was talking heads, as the one you see here, people who just talk to the camera for 1 to 2 minutes, or podcast style videos, or people reading emotional quotes from other books, which is actually something that did extremely well for us. You want your ads to blend into the feed of those people because those people see similar content every single day for multiple hours a day. I don't remember, but it was either 57 or 97 minutes that people spend on TikTok every single day. So for 57 or 97 minutes, people are going to be seeing multiple ad types or content types that are very close to what you have to produce as an advertiser in order to make people watch your video for longer and then convert. So TikTok should give you a pretty good understanding of the hooks that you want to use for your ads. And here I have a few examples because the hook is actually the most important part of your video. Similar on YouTube, similar on Facebook, on TikTok, like it doesn't really matter. If your hook is powerful, people are going to stay and people are going to watch the video until the end, or like at least for half of its duration, which is going to be enough time for you to sell to those people. So here we have one of the examples. Books I would sell my soul to read for the first time. Again, 1.4 million likes. You focus on the videos that have the most amount of likes and the most amount of views, obviously. Then books that left my jaw on the floor, 2.6 million likes. And then here, the best book I have read so far this year, which is evergreen. You can use it in December, you can use it in January, you can use it in 2024, 2025, 2027, 2058. Doesn't really matter because this is always going to be relevant. In our case, we decided that the best hooks would be books I would sell my soul to read for the first time. Again, the best books to read in year. If you are on a journey, because there was self-love journey, but there were also many more journeys that people were onto, you have to read this book. Number, book recommendations if you want to achieve desired transformation in year. Adding the year is actually going to allow you to have a hook rate like much greater than the hook rate that you would have if you don't have the year, because it just makes it more relevant, especially relevant if it's January, February, it's the beginning of the year, because yeah, it's just going to be resonating with people, because usually people set their goals on January the 1st or like around January the 1st that they want to do something, they want to become someone in this particular year. So if you help them become someone in this particular year, your ad is just going to hit much better. And going back to the research, desired transformation, this is basically understanding your ICP as good as humanly possible. Books every gender should read in their age range. Once again, you should know who you're targeting, because if you don't know who you're targeting and your customers are 65 plus, and then you say books that every female should read in their 25, like 20s, It's just not gonna hit. If your customer is 65 and you're saying 20s, like it's just not gonna happen. Dedicate one full day to just doing research on TikTok and go through not every, but a lot of the profiles that create content on your topic. Study what makes a video go viral. Study if it's a story, if it's a before and after, if it's a direct introduction to a product, if it's like a talking head, if it's a podcast, or if it's a street interview. Like, there are so many different variants and scenarios in which an ad or a video could go viral. You need to understand exactly why. You don't have to come down to like one or two ad types or video types. Just collect everything that you see and captures your attention. Do the same thing with Instagram. As you do on TikTok. On Instagram, you have the added benefit of actually being able to see a sneak peek behind people's lives. Because if you just open up the profile of somebody who has commented on a viral video on your specific like topic, product, niche, whatever, you can see most people post parts of their lives. Do they have a dog? Do they have a cat? What do they do in their free time? Do they have children? Do they not have children? Who they are, etc., etc. So you can learn a lot. Because not that many people actually post on TikTok as much as they post on IG. The third platform that we love using, or actually the fourth after the website, TikTok and Instagram, is Reddit. If you're not using Reddit, you're making a big mistake, and this is your sign to start, because people literally tell the stories of their life on Reddit, which could inspire a lot of ad creatives for your brand. Like, you can literally use this thing as a script for your ad creative, then give it to a content creator, and you have the content creator say those words, of course, in a nice way, in a presenting way, in a way that would make them feel authentic to the people who watch the video. And you're gonna generate probably some good results. This is something we came across while doing our research. Book, which was not our book, was something that I downloaded from Audible out of desperation because I've been dealing with high levels of constant pain 24/7. It doesn't get better than this. Since an incident involving my disabled son in 2017, long story, he had my trapezius, and like this thing muscle ripped off my spine and the bone via like whatever. The pain that kind of injury was absolutely unreal. Took me 13 months. Like, this is so emotional that people have no chance but staying until the end of the video or the post, reading until the end of the post to just figure out what happened and what's the transformation that this person experienced while reading this book right here. It's not very related to the topic of the product we're selling, but you can see how deep people go in explaining their situation on Reddit. I can go on and on about the different channels for doing research, but these are the ones that we have had the most success with. Some other notable mentions are YouTube, similar to TikTok. You have shorts, you have long format content that you can actually use and watch it, understand what people are saying, why are people saying this thing that they're saying, go through the comment section, learn more about your ICP. Then you have the Facebook ad comment section. Each of our creative strategists is required to log into the ads manager at least once a week to check the comment section of the ads with the most amount of spend in the last 7 to 14 days, as they are actually the ones that tend to have the most amount of engagement and comments. So this is something that you should request from your team or from yourself if you are the creative strategist. Just do it every week, no excuses. Then post-purchase surveys. This is an underrated way of doing ICP research because you can ask strategic questions that you know will be answered by people who have purchased from you. So you can ask them, what's your age range? What's your gender? Why are you buying? Why are you not buying? Is there something that stopped you from buying? Are you buying for yourself? So that you can understand if it's a gift, if it's not a gift, etc., etc. So after we complete all of the research, we fill out an ICP sheet where we try to break down the total addressable market into small pockets of audiences called avatars. And each avatar has its own unique wants, unique needs, unique desired, unique current situation, barriers. So we need to be perfectly aware of what's going on inside their head. So here we have multiple different avatars. As you see, we're more focused on a younger demographic between 22 and 28. Later on, we created even more avatars of people within their 30s, within their 40s, who are going through a divorce, who need to let go of somebody that they loved a lot in the past, which left a very deep trauma on them. So they find an escape and healing through reading the books that basically we sell. So yeah, make sure like you can copy paste what you have, what I have here. You can expand on it. It's actually the previous version of the sheet that we used to fill out. Now it's a bit more detailed. It has a few more questions that need an answer before we actually start producing the scripts and the concept. So yeah, as I mentioned, we currently use a more updated version, but even though just doing this should be enough for you. Breaking down your audiences into specific avatars would allow you to be more strategic with your content. And keep in mind that this is a fundamental part of scaling an e-commerce brand to 9-figure levels. I know that the current case study is with a brand that only did $2.5 million in revenue, but the only reason why we haven't hit $10 million is because I already explained it in the past, or like a few minutes ago. We could have easily gone as far as spending $10,000 a day. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Now that we're done with the customer avatars, we move to the script writing process. Now, writing the scripts. The key when you write your script is to write using the words of your customers. The biggest reason why we were able to achieve the success that we achieved is because most of our hooks were actually sentences we took directly from our customer on like from the website, from Reddit, from like Quora, whatever, or just viral videos on TikTok. We went so deep in our attempt to write in the language of our customers that we produced one ad that spent over 125K. This is just for the purpose of the screenshot. It actually spent much more, but it doesn't really matter. It's enough for an ad creative to spend $125,000 for you to know that this is actually a fucking winner. Purchase conversion value about that's wrong, so it doesn't really matter what it says here. It's probably 2 times more, but it doesn't really matter. Write your scripts in the language of your customers. By the time you start writing your scripts, you should have built a huge bank of inspiration that the script writing itself should not take more than 2 to 3 hours, or even 2 to 3 days if you're not in a rush. I personally am a huge fan of ClickUp, where I store all of the inspiration I find online, and this is what a ClickUp dashboard looks on my end. So it starts with the research, the ideation. So for ideation, I just store everything that I think could potentially work for the client that we're producing content for. From static images to carousels, to videos, to GIFs, to VSLs, to educational, to funny content, it doesn't really matter. Then search and approval for content creators, shipping to content creators, script writing process, script sent to client for approval, editing and filming or whatever, and then finished. This is just pipeline that we use on our side. Change it, don't change it. I don't really care too much. I have enough ideas stored in here that I wouldn't need to do any more research in the next 2 to 3 months. Not that I will not do it, but I just have enough for now. You don't need to use ClickUp. A simple Notion, Trello, Google Sheets dashboard would do the same job for you. The number one thing you need to be aware of when you produce content is what are you testing? If there is something that you take away from this video, it should be this. Like, you cannot afford to just test and produce content for the purpose of producing content and having more volume, because this is one of the trends that gurus try to push in 2025. By the time I'm filming this video, they are saying creative volume is everything, which I think is bullshit, because if your tests are not streamlined, and not necessarily only streamlined, but purposefully created scripts and hypotheses, good luck. Like, that's the only thing that I can say. Each script we create has a hypothesis that needs to be defined by our creative strategist. The hypothesis answers the question, what am I testing? Examples. I want to test an angle that only targets men who want to become a better version of themselves by using product X. I want to test an older content creator to see if it would allow us to acquire more older customers. I want to test a different hook variation of this top performing ad creative. I want to test a different call to action and see if that's going to result in a higher click-through rate. There are so many hypotheses, like it's an endless list of hypotheses that you can create, but every single one of your videos, doesn't matter if it's a variation, if it's a net new content, if it's a static image, just try to answer the question, what am I testing? keep track of everything that you're testing so that you know, okay, this works, this doesn't work, or let's test a different variant of it, etc., etc. Without knowing what you're testing and adjusting your approach based on the results, you'll be just as good as any mediocre e-commerce business and any average ad creative agency, as most of them are. What's important is to understand here. Is the concept of building blocks. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, you've probably seen me post about it. Most people think that a good ad has a hook, a call to action, and something in between. But this does not give you full control of the ad creative process, because you will not be able to really understand what exactly made the viewer click on the ad. This is why we build our ads in building blocks. Filming the videos in building blocks is very beneficial for two reasons. First of all, it will give you the ability to reuse the content instead of having to film new ads every single time, every single month. Because, for example, you can have a clip for the unboxing that is good, and you will be able to reuse this clip 20 years from now, literally. The more ads you test, the bigger the likelihood of success. And basically, you will be able to use the same clip, the unboxing video, in creating more variations and basically more ads, and that's the reason why more ads, like bigger likelihood of success, etc., etc. This is what it looks like on our end. This is a screenshot that I took from the internet. I cannot take credit for creating this like beautiful screenshot. I took it from the internet, but anyway, it serves a good purpose of just explaining the concept of building blocks. Filming ads in building blocks will be extremely powerful when you analyze the performance of your ad creative team, because we use motion, and motion allows us to create correlations between the ROI of the ad and the performance of the different building blocks. See where the drop-off is, what's happening, try to improve the ad by removing parts of it, adding parts of it, and performing what performs well, removing this and adding parts that perform good or bad or whatever. This is what a dashboard looks like on our end. We use motion. Once again, feel free to sign up if you want to have like 20% discount. Hit me up in the comment section or wherever, because I can link you up with my affiliate offer, of course. So yeah, this is what the creative analysis side of things look on our side. And another thing that I'm not gonna go deep into is actually the different building blocks, because I have a whole section for like hooks, unboxing, problem, agitation, solution. Like, it's actually too long for me to focus on it today. But once again, you're going to have a link to this document, so have a look at it yourself. All the scripts are written on a Google Sheet that looks beautiful and sent to the content creator with the instructions inside. So we have the shot type, which is basically the building block, shot description, and then we usually add a visual reference so that the content creator has a very good understanding of exactly what they need to film. We require the creator to send us only raw files. Those raw files are then sent to our video editing team, and then they take care of like putting all of the clips together, captions, voiceovers, transitions, in order for the video to look ready to be used as an ad on social media. Once the editing is finished, all of the ads are sent either to the client or to our media buying team. I don't know why I have video editing team. It's media buying team. In this particular case, we also ran the ads for the client, for the case study that I'm presenting, and I will add a small section on managing the ads inside the Facebook Ad Manager, with which I'm gonna end this presentation because it's already 5 minutes in. If you're spending less than 50K a month, your ad account structure should not be complicated. You wanna let your ad creative do the heavy lifting. So a good ad creative will work with a bad ad account structure, but a bad ad creative will not work even with the best ad account structure. During 2024, we experimented a lot with cost caps and bid caps, but the top account structure remained the same for the entire year, which is as it follows. 1 ABO campaign for testing. This is where we put all of our new ad creatives and test different audiences. So we tend to start with targeting broad, but we also expand into lookalikes. We've had actually success with lookalikes, even though most people tell you to not use lookalikes. We do use lookalikes, and we see some success with it. Stacked interest targeting also works very well for us, and we found 2 or 3 top performing interests which ran alongside our completely broad audiences, which is both genders, 18+, all the United States, with no restrictions. If you're in a country that's much smaller than the United States, for example, in Germany or like the Netherlands or the United Kingdom, I would even stay away from anything else than broad because you just don't need it. One campaign for retargeting, which is a CBO campaign. So we stack all of the retargeting audiences into one ad set, which means social engagers, website visitors. We just exclude people who have purchased in the past 30 days because we don't want to hit them. So we stack social engagers, Facebook and IG in the last 180 days, website visitors in the past 180 days, because we want this audience to be as big as possible, because once again, you're not spending more than 50K a month. We upload all of the retargeting ads inside the same ad set. We don't care about resetting the learning phase because this is not the main campaign inside of the ad account, and that tends to perform well even if it's in learning limited, even if you completely reset the learning phase. So just do one CBO for retargeting. We tested cost caps, CBO for scaling, advantage shopping plus for scaling, but never found success or success to a degree that our ABO campaign was performing. For scaling winning ads, we just increased the ad set budget in the ABO campaign by 20% every 2 to 3 days. If the results maintain within KPIs, we scale up further. So to summarize everything, the reason why we were able to scale was because, first of all, we had a good product. Like, this is the most important thing, good product. If you don't have a good product, people are just not going to buy from you. And we focused all of our attention on producing good ads based on social media trends, based on our research and the analysis we did on every single ad that we created. And of course, a little pitch. If you're looking for a team that could help you scale your e-commerce business by producing more winning ad creatives, I'd be happy to talk to you, because on average, our clients see a positive ROI on the total return on investment within like 45 days of working with us. So you can book a call with me if you want to. If you don't want to, we are not actually looking to onboard many new clients right now, but if you have a good brand, if you have a good product, then I would be definitely interested in talking to you. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this long video of myself explaining how we scaled this brand from $0 to $2.5 million. And basically, please use some of the stuff that you have seen here, because it's the same thing that we used to generate over $50 million in sales for our clients in 2024, so last year. And if you're watching this video in 2026, that would be 2 years ago. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Hope you found something valuable from this video, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon.